Hey guys, it's me, Tiana Jones, also known as Callie Faye, and I'm so excited today. We have such an amazing group of United Nations coming together to bring peace with all sustainable development goals each day. We've been here for 17 days to come. I'm so excited about everyone here because they're here to give information and innovation through research, data, and analysis. Today, we are on day 10, Reduced Inequalities, and I'm so excited to present our first international speaker, and that's going to be Professor Nada Rakovic. Welcome.
Greetings from Croatia. I'm really sorry that I wasn't yesterday here because I really have a great presentation about innovations. But I couldn't join, so today I'm here. Very happy to see all our great ambassadors, Estera, Mala, Caleb, Richie, uh, Teona and Sir Piyush, Satya. We are here again together, and that is really amazing. Tiana, you are doing a great work, and we are really proud on you. What is our topic today? Our topic today is reduce. We are on the SDG 10, and we are talking about reducing inequality. Isn't that very sad that today, in this world, in this modern world of high technology, innovations, patents, everything, that we still have a big inequality? United Nations are working a lot of that, but where are the results? Where are the results? The community. We are a big global. I will say we are a big global village, and our community, international community, is trying to do significant things, significant towards lifting people from the poverty. Talking on the SDG one at the beginning about no poverty, we heard all about the situation around the globe. We know that we don't have a good situation still. And today, the nations, and we can say the most vulnerable nations, and we have so many undeveloped countries and countries who is the big question, when will be developed. So that poor countries cannot grow alone. They need a help. They need a big push. They need a strength. Only I say that only around the globe, people and that we can say rich people can help. But we know that rich people are not helping a lot because for that people we say always that they always say they don't have money, and that is a very sad true today. So that is I can say inequality really persists, and there is a big large disparity between the people, between the youth, very different disparity. If we want to talk about the main thing, to the access to the health. People cannot go to the doctors. They cannot take care about their health because they cannot pay that. They don't have money for that. So how to solve this problem? How to make this? So there are a lot of statistics today. There are a lot of analyses. There are a lot of projects, plans on the inequality. So across the globe, there is a big global economic inequality. And if we talk about the targets SDG 10, he defined 10 targets. And I can say almost the biggest number of the indicators that from all the SDGs. And that goals are really specified. They are presenting what are the aims, what are the world aims, and what targets and what needs to be achieved then. So how is world doing on this globe? Uh, we want to say that today the first globe, I could say maybe first indicator, is about the growth rate of the household. So what is with the household? Where are the incomes? There is a big problem because there are not enough incomes, and there's a big growth rate of that incomes. We talk about already that when we mention the gender equality. So every goal we are touching, they are all correlated. We need more research, we need more help, we need more data. Till 2030, there's one statistical data that the growth will be 40% of the population with uh, with the with the rate of the higher national average. So what we need to do today, we are here. Today we are here. We are talking about all these problems, and I'm sure that we will touch all the problems which we today have. If we talk about the inequality, inequality is all around us. If we talk about the job, if we talk about we said already the health, if we talk about the difference between children, so I see every day in the school that now there is a big brand called Golden Goose for youth. That pair costs so it is 500 euros. It is $600, and you see that some girls have them and other don't have the main thing. So this is a big inequality, and I think that our parents really need to stop this. Really need to stop this because they are putting and they are making a big difference between the children going to the school. So that difference not need to be seen. War in Ukraine brings us in Europe a big inflation, high prices. What today was $1, it is tomorrow already $2. So how can we? That is the question is how will we continue living? And pandemic affect everything. Uh, big income inequality comes because so many people around the globe lost their job, and again there's so many discrimination. So I will not mention the continents because you know that what is with the countries in Northern Africa, Western Asia, they have so many refugees, sub-Saharan Africa. So that is really sad, and we need to make actions. And what we are doing now, helping how much we can, I can say that is great. And if everybody see, and if everybody start and give just a small thing, there will be less inequalities in this world. So thank you so much. I will not talk about the predictions today. My day is not. Today I will say there is no good future, but I don't want to say that we have a bright future. So we need to be optimists.
Thank you so much. And we have another special guest today. And after that, I am going to let Professor Nada, she can moderate because she likes to light up the party. She likes to bring laughter to people. She can call on the people and get to know her because she works with IIU. And she always
Yes,
has jokes. She has lots of jokes, lots of jokes. She can make us all wake up.
Tomorrow. Today, I have a little pain in my tooth, so it makes me a headache all day.
Okay.
Tomorrow I will.
Okay, tomorrow she will, but
Today, listen, today, Estera, she does that great. Estera.
okay. Today we'll let
No, it's not I don't want to do. I love to do it. But the problem here, you know what time now is 1 a.m. I would have to present and I don't know what to do, who to call first and next. If you give me, then I can do next time for you. I don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, if you ask me to invite one person, no problem.
Okay. Well, we're gonna call
Okay,
our
okay.
next.
I know. I will help you. I will help you. I will
No,
help
no,
you.
no worries. Okay, we're
Okay,
gonna
okay.
call our next guest speaker, Tiana Naradas. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Teona Nadiradze, mathematician from Georgia, and I'm happy that I am with you again. Inequality is perhaps the problem we see most easily and fight the hardest. Inequality in our lives can begin at an age we don't even have memories of. Humanity has also constantly struggled with inequality throughout its history of development. It seems that over time everything has changed for the better, but I think that important achievements in this regard remain mostly at the level of theory. We have equality achieved in discussions, not implemented in practice. Inequality breeds injustice and vice versa. Both historically and in everyday life, the economically strong oppress the economically weak. The role of business in reducing inequality is very large. It is his responsibility to protect the rights of employees. Private companies have the ability to avoid and eliminate this problem. It is necessary for companies to update and develop appropriate policies and implement inclusive practices that exclude discrimination in employment based on age, gender, religious beliefs, or other factors. We see inequality in many aspects. It can be in terms of distribution of income, both within and between countries. Income inequality within the country is determined by various factors, including place of residence or gender, and etc. In Georgia, more men are unemployed than women. According to the data of 2020, about 16% of the unemployed were women, while the number of men was about 20%. If we discuss equality in terms of social status in Georgia, it is clear that there is a problem in this regard, as in all other countries. But progress can be seen. In 2020 compared to 2019, the relative poverty rate decreased. 3 decades have passed since the restoration of Georgia's independence. Back then, everyone thought that life would be much better after 30 years, but it did not happen like that at all. The society was given the opportunity to choose the government itself, but somehow the basis of every new choice was the rejection of the old choice. They fought for change, but all the struggles were local in nature. None of them aimed at changing the global order. On the one hand, a large part of the society has a feeling of injustice, while the other part believes that the right to exercise freedom is not limited. Although the pandemic has increased inequality, it is clear that the overall increase in inequality has been typical even before the pandemic and in the past 3 decades. Is protest the solution? I think that nowadays young people are more aware of the severity of inequality and constantly try to overcome it. It is unfortunate that often the ruling upper classes do not understand the need for equality. But fortunately, the need for equality occupies an important place in the new generation. In recent months, we had a case in Georgia when the struggle of young people against oppression and injustice brought positive results even at the level of legislation. When we talk about reducing inequality, I think it's directly related to education. An educated society understands its own value, the meaning of the word, the essence of rights. Therefore, it will neither give the right to oppress others, nor will it dare to do so. When I look at the younger generation, I look positively at our future because they can really fight effectively, and inequality will definitely decrease further. If we add to this the active policy of the country to raise the economic level, it will be really realistic to think that living in an equal society is not an improbable and distant future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for joining us again. And you're right. This all has to do with our future, and everyone here has a future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next global international speaker is Katia Biblari. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Georgia. And today I'm going to talk about SDG 10. And it is one of the most important topics, of course, and we have to be able to solve this problem together. And I will talk about SDG 10, and I will describe the situation in Georgia too. SDG 10, or the 10th Sustainable Development Goal, aims to reduce inequalities within and among countries. In Georgia, there are several specific areas where progress is being made towards achieving this goal. The first one is poverty reduction, and I can say that Georgia has made significant progress in reducing poverty levels in recent years. According to the World Bank, the poverty rate in Georgia fell from 32.5% in 2010 to 60.3% in 2019. As for the education, Georgia has made progress in improving access to education, particularly for girls and children from disadvantaged backgrounds. The government has increased its spending on education, and the number of children attending primary school has increased in recent years. As for the health, which is very important, Georgia has made significant strides in improving access to health care, particularly in rural areas. The government has increased funding for healthcare, and the number of healthcare facilities has increased. Additionally, there has been progress in reducing infant and maternal mortality rates. Employment, which is, of course, one of the main important topics. While unemployment remains a significant issue in Georgia, there has been progress in creating new jobs and reducing unemployment rates. The government has implemented programs to promote entrepreneurship and provide job training and support. Gender equality. Georgia has made progress in promoting gender equality, particularly in terms of political representation. Women now make up nearly 30% of members of parliament, and there has been an increase in the number of women in leadership positions in the public and private sectors. Despite these positive developments, there are still challenges to achieving SDG 10 in Georgia. Income inequality remains high, and many vulnerable groups such as ethnic minorities and people with disabilities face discrimination and limited access to resources. Additionally, there are concerns about corruption and lack of transparency in government, which can exacerbate inequalities. So these are the problems that we encounter in Georgia, and I'm pretty sure that we will be able to move to the next step, and we will be able to solve this problem, because power is the best way to solve this problem. So thank you for your attention, and thank you for having me here.
Wow, thank you. Very well organized. We really appreciate it. And you're always here every day. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Our next international guest speaker is Ambassador Esthera Mala. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, dear Honorable Dr. Tiana Jones, guest speakers, dear audience, to our Sustainable Development, Global Peace Sustainable Development Goal number 10. And I am Esther Mala from Malaysia, a soft skill trainer, educator, inspirational, international speaker. Yeah. Let me share the screen. Dr. Tiana, can I share the screen? Thank you. Okay, this is our topic today. What is SDG? Income inequalities. I will not go into detail because I think every one of you know. SDG is Sustainable Development Goal 10. It has 10 targets and 11 indicators. Global Goal 10 has a center point of human development for hundreds of years. People like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr.
Sorry, Ma'am, sorry for interrupting, but your screen is not visible.
Oh, is it? One
You
minute,
have
1 minute.
you have
One
shared.
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, yeah. I think, okay, thank you for alerting me. Let me share again. Yeah. Now can see? Yes?
Yes. Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
sorry. Sorry about just now. Thank you for
Yes, ma'am.
alerting me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for alerting me. Okay. Yeah, let me put in the full screen. Okay. Yeah. SDG 10, income inequalities. Yeah. Global Goal 10 has been a center point for human development for hundreds of years. People like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Sojourner Truth, and millions of others dedicated their lives to fighting for equal rights. These historical figures lived on and are remembered today because they made an impact in reducing inequalities around the world. Today we have Malala Yousafzai. Almost 2 in 10 people are reported having personally experienced discrimination on at least one of the grounds established by international human rights law. So what does this mean? It means standing up for equal human rights for people of all races, genders, and socio-economic status. And it means not discriminating between classes of people, no matter who they are or where they come from. What is income inequalities? Income inequalities can be measured using Gini index. As you can see at my right bottom of the screen, that is Gini index. Income inequality is how unevenly income is distributed throughout a population. The less equal the distribution, the higher income inequality is. Income inequality is often accompanied by wealth inequality, which is uneven distribution of wealth. Income inequality, such as Gini coefficient or index, can be used to analyze the level of income inequalities in a population. The different types of income segmentation studied when analyzing income inequality may include distributions for gender, ethnicity, social status, geographical location or region, education or occupation, historical income, sexual orientation, and disability. Why it matters? Why inequalities matters? What the goal here? To reduce. The goal here is to reduce inequalities within and among countries. Why inequalities based on income, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, races, classes, ethnicity, religion, and opportunity continues to persist across the world because it threatens long-term social and economic development, harms poverty reduction, and destroys people's sense of fulfillment and self-worth. Later, I will give you a shocking news which I heard today over the news channel. Yeah, that will come last. Let me finish. Leads to can breed. It leads to this income inequality can lead to it can breed in crime, disease, and environmental degradation. We can achieve sustainable development goal if people are excluded from the chance for a better life. And despite some positive signs, inequality is growing for more than 70% of the global population, exacerbating the risk of division and hampering economic and social development. COVID-19 is hitting the most vulnerable people the hardest, and those same groups are often experiencing increased discrimination. Current global status of SDG 10. Reducing inequalities and ensuring no one is left behind are integral to achieving sustainable development goals. Inequality within and among countries is a persistent cause of the concern. The effects of COVID-19 appears to be reversing any positive trends of narrowing income inequalities. The pandemic has also intensified structural and systematic discrimination. Emerging markets and developing economies are experiencing slow recoveries, widening disparities in income between the countries. The number of refugees and migrants deaths worldwide reached the highest absolute number on record in 2021. Meanwhile, the war in Ukraine rages on, forcing even more people fleeing from their homes and creating one of the largest refugee crises in the recent memory. SDG 10 targets, I think I don't have to go in detail. As I mentioned, how many targets are there? Progressive achievement and sustained income growth, empower, promote a social, economic, and political inclusion of all, irrespective age, sex, and disability, races, and all. Ensure equal opportunity and reducing inequalities of outcome. Adopt policies, especially fiscal, wage, and social protection policies, and progressively achieve greater equalities. Improve the regulation and monitoring of global financial market and institution, and strengthen the implementation of regulation. Ensures enhanced representation and voice for developing countries in decision-making in global, international, economic, and financial institutions in order to deliver more effective, credible, accountable, and legitimate institutions. Facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people, including through the implementation of planned and well-managed migration policies. Implement the principle of special and differential treatment for developing countries, in particular least developed countries, in accordance with the World Trade Organization agreement. Encourage official development, assistance, and financial flows, including foreign direct investment to states where the need is greatest, in particular least developed countries, African countries, small island developing states, and landlocked developing countries, in accordance to their national plans and programs. By 2030, reduce to less than 3% the transaction cost of migrant remittance, and eliminate remittance corridors with costs higher than 5%. How do we tackle discrimination? Today, I heard over the news channel Vantage. It is an international news based in India. It is mentioned that Goldman Sachs, the company, I think everybody knows this, is quite a famous company. The wages is example only. There are many companies where they are not paying the female and the male equal salary. The wages here is so much difference. The males are earning 53% more salary than the female workers for the same job and for the same qualification. Can you see how much of inequalities the difference is for male and the female in the job market? This means women, if you really calculate right to the dot, women are working so many hours free for the employer because they are underpaid. Yeah, so just for your attention. So this means we are far behind in achieving this. So everybody has to strive to work out this to a success. How do we tackle discrimination? In today's world, we are interconnected. Problems and challenges like poverty, climate change, migration, or economic crisis are never just confined to one country or region. Even the richest countries still have communities living in abject poverty. Yes, you go to UK, you go to US, you know, I've seen a lot of YouTubes, people are living by the roadside. So if this can happen in these countries, what do you expect in the third world country? Yeah, and many countries in Asia. Very sad. Yes, So the oldest democracies still wrestle with racism, homophobia, transphobia, and religious intolerance. Global inequality affects us all, no matter who we are or where we are from. Can we achieve equality for everyone? It can and should be, but I think slowly. It might take another 100 or 200 years, because I can remember when I shared it, I think I read from Google, it's about 147 years for the male and the female to achieve wage equality. Means they're going to earn same salary. We don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Political, economical, and social policies used to be universal and pay particular attention to the needs of disadvantaged and marginalized community. Let's see how to reduce inequalities. Reducing inequalities requires transformative change. Greater effort are needed to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, and invest more in health, education, social protection, and decent jobs, especially for young people, migrants, and refugees and other vulnerable communities. Within countries, it is important to empower and promote inclusive social and economic growth. We can ensure equal opportunity and reduce inequalities of income if we eliminate discriminatory laws, policies, and practices. Among countries, we need to ensure that developing countries are better represented in decision-making on global issues so that solutions can be more effective, credible, and accountable. Governments and other stakeholders can also promote safe, regular, and responsible migration, including through planned and well-managed policies for the millions of people who have left their homes seeking better lives due to war, like in Ukraine, discriminating, poverty, lack of opportunity, and other drivers of migration. 12 tools to reduce income and wealth inequality. Raise wages and other benefits. Make income tax system more progressive. Cap the ratio of top executive pay to workers' pay. Raise the tax on carried interest. Remove or reduce home mortgage interest deduction. Strengthen the earned income tax credit or establish a universal basic income program. Close offshore tax havens. Pass a tax on financial transactions. Pass a tax on high-value luxury goods. Establish a wealth tax. Raise the estate tax. How to reduce income inequality in Malaysia? Increase the level of education. This is the answer. What causes Malaysia income inequality? The issue of rising cost of living has become one of the main agenda of government, which is partly contributed to widening the income gap between the high income and low income. In Malaysia, it is the government have set the minimum wages to ringgit Malaysia 1,500, and due to pandemic, they have to hold back. And now there's a lot of unhappy voices from the people demanding even this to be established soon. And the government is working towards it. And government is providing a lot of government aids for people who are earning very low income. We call here B40. Government is giving them some help financially every quarterly. Other factors: technological progress, globalization, commodity price cycles, and domestic economic policies such as redistributive fiscal policies, labor and product market policies. Malaysia do suffer. Malaysia has a fair share of suffering with rest of the countries in the world due to pandemic. Malaysia's one of the main sources of income is tourism, because tourists love to come to Malaysia because we have wonderful climate, we got varieties of food, and you name it, everything we have, Western food, Asian food, you know, everything. And they like the weather here, many holiday spots, as what one of the delegates shared in one of the conference. She's from India, living in Singapore, working there. She said she came to KL, Kuala Lumpur, and she find they are really, Malaysian government is really observing the SDGs, especially in keeping up with the environment. If I say it, it will look like I'm boasting about my country, but this is what mentioned by one of the dignitaries during one of the SDGs recently. And I feel so proud. And I know, being a third world country, a developing country, even in this pandemic, you know, it's hit hard, yet it stands tall. So I thank God for this. Yeah, thank you for your attention, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that would definitely be on my bucket list to visit those places. That's very interesting. Thank you.
Please come. One more thing. If what they say about Malaysia, if men from other country come and live here long, they don't want to go back. They will marry a woman here and stay here. That's how wonderful Malaysia is. So just to keep it alive.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. And I bet it's beautiful there. So thank you so much. Our next international guest speaker is Piyush Raja. Dr. Piyush Raja, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tiana. Namaste from India. Myself is Piyush Raja. And we all are together. We know we all are together for SDG goals. Today's we discussed about SDG goal 10. Let me share the screen. Please enable. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. My paper title is Addressing Inequalities, Strategies for Reducing Disparities in Income, Education, and Healthcare. These are the outline of my paper: abstract, introduction, background, strategies for reducing inequalities, conclusion, and last one is references. First of all, I would like to discuss about the abstract of the paper. Inequalities in income, education, and healthcare are significant challenges for policymakers worldwide. These disparities um, disparities exclusively affect marginalized communities, leading to reduced economic growth, social instability. This research paper examines the root causes inequalities, including historical and systematic factors, and proposes strategies for reducing disparities and promoting more equitable societies. Our analysis suggests that reducing inequalities requires a comprehensive approach that addresses structural barriers, promote inclusive economic growth, and provide access to quality education and healthcare services for all. the introduction of the paper. Inequalities in income, education, and healthcare are universal issues that undermine social cohesion and economic growth. These disparities are not only morally wrong but also threaten the long term prosperity of societies. While progress has been made in reducing some inequalities in recent years, much more remains to be done address systematic barriers and achieve greater equity. This research paper examines the root causes of inequalities and proposes strategies for reducing disparities and promoting more inclusive society. Next one is the background of the paper. Inequalities in income, education, and healthcare are deeply intertwined. Economic inequalities often translate into disparities in education, healthcare outcomes. For instance, children from low income families are more likely to have poorer educational outcomes and worse health outcomes than their wealthier peers. In addition, unequal access to quality healthcare services can be health disparities, particularly for marginalized communities. The root causes for inequalities are complicated and complex. Historical and systematic factors such as discrimination, racism, and gender biases limit opportunity for disadvantaged groups. In addition, policies that favor for wealthy and powerful often inequalities are widen the gap between rich and poor people. These four are the strategies for reducing inequalities. The first one is addressing structural barriers. Structural barriers such as discrimination, racism, and gender biases, inequalities, and limit opportunities for disadvantaged groups. Policies that promote diversity and inclusion, such as affirmative action and anti-discrimination laws, can help the level the playing field for marginalized group. For example, affirmative action policies in the universities can help to increase the representation of groups in higher education. Additionally, policies that promote access to resources and opportunities can help to reduce structural barriers. For instance, affordable housing policies can help to reduce inequalities in the access to housing, address segmentation in residential areas. The second one is promoting inclusive economic growth. For example, policies that support small, medium-sized enterprises can help to create job and stimulate economic growth in disadvantaged areas. Education and training programs that provide skills and knowledge for emerging industries can help to prepare individuals for new job opportunities. The third one is providing access to quality education. We all know quality education is the pillar of developing any countries. Education is the key to breaking the cycle of poverty and promoting social mobility. Policies that provide access to education, particularly for disadvantaged communities, can help reduce disparities in educational outcomes, and promote greater equality. The third one is the fourth one and last one is improving access to healthcare. Access to quality healthcare services is critical for promoting good health outcomes and reducing health disparities. Policies that ensure access to affordable healthcare for all. For my view, healthcare facility should be free in every country so that everyone can get it. And also quality education. Education should be also free. For example, expanding Medicaid coverage can help to increase access to healthcare for low-income individuals and families. In addition, investing in community health center can also help to provide primary care services to understand communities. You can see in this picture long-term goal to reduce inequality, developing a plan of action, your theory of change. This is the life cycle. The first one is what type of action might be effective. Plan specific action that should be governed by any country. Take the planned action and then after monitor intermediate outcomes. The life cycle is going on, and this is the conclusion part. Reducing inequalities in income, education, and healthcare is critical for promoting social cohesion, economic growth, and human development. Achieving greater equity requires a comprehensive approach that addresses the root causes of disparities and promote inclusive economic growth. While progress has been made in reducing some inequalities, much more remains to be done to build more equitable societies. Policymakers must prioritize. Policymaker must think about this to prioritize reducing inequalities and implement a strategy that promote greater equity and social justice. Thank you. These are the references which I have taken for preparing this paper. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr.
Wow.
Tiana Jones and all for giving me this opportunity to say something, my views. Thank you. Namaste.
Wow, I'm so impressed. That was amazing. All of those references, you worked so hard on that. I love it. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tiana.
Thank you so much. And also, please, if you can, email me your presentation. Thank you.
Yes, sure. I have made all goals PPT, and if you give me chance for goal 11, I would be happy to present.
Yes, please join every day. Please join every single day that we have. We have so many more goals you can present, and you can always have an opportunity. That's not an option. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, congratulations. Whew, I'm so overwhelmed. I loved it so much. Our next international speaker is going to be Caleb Timlin. Samuel, welcome.
Good evening, everyone from here. Thank you very much today for giving me the opportunity to contribute my own knowledge. Also, I must appreciate Professor Nada for that wonderful speech, and Ambassador Estera and Dr. Piyush. I really learned a lot from that. So when we talk about Sustainable Development Goal 10 of synergy within and among countries, it is something that over time that the world has been battling with. And over time, we have been fighting that battle, but it seems as if we are not keeping up with the pace that should meet the agenda goal 2030. In the works of Martin Luther King, he made us understand that even when we are more concerned about the spiritual soul of man, we should not turn a blind eye, and also we should also consider the economic condition that strangulates that soul, and also the social condition that cripples that soul. It is then a man can be made complete. And this is to say that in order to end inequality, we must also put social and economic together. We must also solve them. And then solving one is solving the other. Creating a problem for one is also creating a problem for another. So in the great works of Martin Luther King, when he was fighting against racial discrimination and also civil rights, he made us to understand that when it comes to inequality, it does not only happen between races. I mean, that has to do with between the colored people and the white people. He made us to understand that it also even happens amongst white people themselves. It happens there. That was how he got to come to the realization that this is something that has to be stopped. So it is a general problem. So the work now have not actually done enough in that regard to make sure that we reduce inequality. And in this current world where we are trying to create an egalitarian society where everybody will have equal rights and opportunity, and also operating a democratic system of government, it would not even speak well, and it is an abuse to that system of government, while majority of persons are still being sidelined and majority of persons are still being marginalized. So in Nigeria here, we have fragments of inequality, so many things that causes inequality. When we talk about poverty, of course, definitely that is economic inequality, and definitely anything that affects economic is also affecting the social life of man. So in 2023 alone, when we were treating the UNSDG goal 1 of poverty, it made us to understand that the Nigerian society alone has about 12%, and of which 12% of the total people living in extreme poverty. And a lot of people are living below the threshold of $1.90 in a day. That is to see that there's a great inequality here in Nigeria that needs to be stopped. So now I would like to share with us some progress that we have been able to make so far. What are the steps we've been taking, and are we taking the right pace? Are we taking slower pace to make sure that we attain, or we fail to attain the UNSDG goal 10 of reduced inequality? So before the pandemic, the incomes of the bottom 40% of the population grew faster than the national average in a majority of countries. The impact of the pandemic and uneven recoveries in different regions of the world threatening to reverse the trend and further worsen global inequality. Record numbers are being forced to flee conflict and economic hardship. By mid-2022, 1 in 251 people worldwide was a refugee, the highest proportion ever documented. So in order to achieve this UNSDG goal that we are talking about today, which is the goal 10, so it requires concerted effort to address the root causes of wage disparities and access to resources both within and between country inequality. So I will try to read the target 10 subsection 1 that we've been able to make so far. Across 119 countries with data available prior to the pandemic, more than half of them had income growth of the bottom 40% of the population at a rate higher than the national average. Sparse data from the pandemic suggests that 2/3 of 50 countries have experienced shared prosperity post 2019, driven by Northern America and Europe, where in many countries, transfers migrated the economic impact of the pandemic on the bottom of distribution. So also, when we try to talk about reduced inequality, it is something that requires great investment. When it comes to investment in the health sector, when it comes to investment also in economy, it goes a long way to make sure that we reduce inequality. And just like when I was talking about we were talking about energy, that when I was talking about nations in the global north, this has to do with nations that are highly developed technologically and in all ramification. They can, and of which they've been doing that, but I think more is still to be done. So they can also try through alleviation programs and intervention funds fund the least developed countries that we are talking about. There are great inequalities in poor countries. People are really, really suffering. When you talk about things that enhances good quality of life, when you talk about things that aid in economic growth, people, basic persons do not even have them here. When it comes to water that we discussed a few days ago, people do not have access to this water. And these are environmental goods. When we talk about clean air, when we talk about green spaces, these are environmental goods that people should enjoy even without purchasing them. These things are a free gift of nature that we are talking about. So again, the International Organization for Migration Missing Migrants Project has recorded 54,127 deaths on migratory routes worldwide since 2015, of which 6,878 were recorded in 2022. However, the real number of lives lost is certainly higher. So the number of people displaced from their countries due to war, conflict, persecution, human rights violations, and public disorder has increased annually for over a decade. By mid-2022, there were 32.5 million refugees worldwide, among 103 million forcibly displaced persons. By the same time, the ratio of refugees to every 100,000 people has risen to 398, an 87% increase from 2015, as forced displacement continues to rise. So the people who are also migrating as a result of war and the human rights violation are really suffering a lot. There were some times I will read the news and I will read some latest updates on my phone, and I see, because the distance from Morocco, that is the northern part of Nigeria, from Morocco to Spain, is about 60 kilometers apart, of which the Mediterranean Sea is separating them. So people at all costs, because of the hardship on the African continent, because of a lot of inequalities, people now have to cross to Spain while using boats. And there will be sometimes casualties are recorded, whereby there will be boats on the Mediterranean Sea will capsize, leading to loss of lives, both young and old, both women, including pregnant women, also looking for greener pastures. And as a result of that, a lot of people too who travel from the sub-Saharan trying to go to Europe, they walk through the Sahara Desert for days just to make sure that they get to developed countries, and just to make sure that they are well fed, and just to make sure that they live another good life. So on this Saharan desert, people die often there, and as a matter of fact, this leads to human trafficking. both sex slavery, even for our women. So whenever we talk about this reduced inequality, it is also about talking about peace and justice institution of goal 16, and also talking about gender inequality. When you talk about crime rates, our women are the people that are most vulnerable to crime rate and several human rights violations. When you talk about places that are war torn, you talk about the women being raped and all sorts of atrocities being done there. So there is still a lot of work to be done in the area of reducing inequality. So and again, I have statistics here that I would like to share with us. For the 53 countries with information in 2015 and 2020, on average, the share of people living below half the median has declined by 1 percentage point from 13.4% to 12.5%. This trend continued during COVID-19, in large part because of various social assistance program implemented in several countries. Yet the share living below half the median remains worrying high in many countries. In 17 countries, more than 20% of the population lives below half the national median. So there is still much work to be done in this regard of reducing this inequality totally. The developed nation should not stop. They should not stop in helping the poorer nations. They should invest here. We are all image of God, definitely. It is also a moral responsibility to make sure that a poor life should be made a rich life. It is also a moral responsibility, and this was what the Martin Luther King Jr. during his time was what he was advocating for. And today we all enjoy the dividends and his works. So I will urge us leaders to not stop in pushing forth to this UNSDG goal 10. So it is then we can say, it is when we've solved these problems that we can say that we truly have a better world. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was great. I am so impressed. If we had an encyclopedia, we could make one out of all of the information you've given us in Africa. I am so grateful because you are the only one representing Africa every single day on this SDG conference. Every single day you have showed up and you are completing that information for your continent. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please come tomorrow. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Dr. Tiana Jones, for always putting down just this wonderful initiative. It has been helpful, and I must say you are doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you for just showing up and using your voice and your knowledge. So many people can learn from the information that you have. So thank you so much again. Our next international speaker is from the United States, Danelle Boyles. Welcome.
Hello, Tiana. My apologies. I was only being a listener today. I don't have anything prepared to speak on. It's a topic that I could greatly speak on because, as we know, it affects all of us globally. And being in education, I see firsthand with how it starts with the youth, and then it, instead of trickling down, it trickles up. You know, can be a reverse effect whenever it starts with the youth. But I greatly appreciate hearing everyone else's gathered information. You all are so extremely well educated and prepared in this, and I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to it and being part of it today. However, I do look forward to speaking on Friday and through the weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, we need great speakers, but we also need people to listen to our platform, not just on YouTube. We want people to join here to listen. And every day we've had so many different people join to listen. Thank you so much. And now we have our next international guest speaker, Maka Sikharlidze.
Hello, welcome from Georgia. I am very happy to be here. Sorry of my bad internet, but I start my speech without PPT because our country has very bad internet today. Thank you for this opportunity, dear Tiana. Good luck to everyone. I am Makasi Haruza from Georgia. I am a tutor, international speaker, teacher, and a very active teacher. We use a human rights-based approach in addressing inequalities and discrimination, including by meaningfully involving women's organizations and other agents of change and prioritizing the poorest and most included women, including migrant and refugee women and women with disabilities, among others. And sustainable development goal 2 aims at reducing inequality within and among countries. This SDG calls for reducing inequalities in income as well as those based on age, disability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, or economic or other status within a country. How to reduce inequality, increase economic inclusion, and create decent work and higher incomes, enhance social service and ensure access to social protection, facilitate safe migration and mobility, and tackle irregular migration. And in Georgia, business companies work to reduce inequality and contribute to the establishment of the principle of equality in various directions: anti-discrimination policy, women's empowerment, inclusion of disabled people. Often companies contribute by creating equal opportunities for employment, providing assistance to socially disadvantaged families. For example, some companies prioritize employment of people with disabilities, employment of ex-prisoners, caregivers, empowerment of underprivileged children. Task assigned to Georgia by 2030, gradually achieving and maintaining income growth for the bottom 40% of the population at a rate above the national average. By 2030, empower and promote the social, economic, and political inclusion of all people, regardless of age, gender, disability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, or economic or other status, ensuring equal opportunities and reducing inequalities in outcomes, including by eliminating discriminatory laws, policies, and practice, and promoting appropriate legislation and policies and actions in this regard, and introduce policies, especially fiscal, wage, and social protection policies, and gradually achieving greater equality, promoting orderly, safe, legal, and responsible migration and mobility of people, including through the implementation of planned and well-managed migration policies. And if we are to achieve all of the sustainable development goals, more needs to be done. We will only secure a prosperous, peaceful, and livable planet if we harness economic growth and development to social solidarity across and between generations. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. Short presentation because I start off my bad internet. I am worried to be here with you. Hello, dear Nada. Dear all, dear Estera. Hello, hello everyone.
Hi, Maka.
I am very happy.
Wonderful.
Lovely, Maka. Dolly. She's the doll from Georgia.
Thanks. very
Thank
much.
you. I loved it. Thank you so much. Please join tomorrow
Thank you,
too.
dear Tiana, for this opportunity. I am very happy.
Oh, thank you. We are happy with you. You're very well driven and everything was perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Now, let's see who's up next, guys. Who's it gonna be? This is amazing. What country is next? And now
iPhone.
we have Professor Dr. Richa Ranjan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm from India and it's, I think so, midnight over here. It's 11:30 at night. So
It's 2
good evening,
a.m.
everyone. Yeah. So we are having night over here. And I'm the last person to speak, I think. Yeah.
No, I'm the last person to speak. You're not the last.
Okay. Okay. So I think much of has been spoken by everyone. I'll just brief it. And today, as everyone has discussed about the SDG 10, I'll tell about the aims. What are the aims to reduce inequality within and among countries? And SDG 10 aims are very clear, and they draws the combat lines against inequality by putting forth a comprehensive range of targets addressing income growth, equality of development opportunities, socio-economic and political empowerment, social protection, responsible migration, etc. Due to structural factors and historical specifications, large emerging economies like India have been particularly confronted with such challenges, and that have been true for many countries. Reduction of inequalities is not only a moral obligation, but an economic necessity for sustainable development, and especially for India. Thus, SDG are in line with the Indian Development Agenda to substantially improve all-round prosperity and well-being in the world by 2030. I'll just discuss about our Indian perspective, because internationally we have heard a lot. The SDG 10 aims to reduce inequality within and among countries and draws the lines. Especially, they are having the range of targets addressing income growth and social protection, responsibility, everything. We are having Niti Aayog in India. Niti Aayog, UN India, and Research and Information System for Developing Countries. They have organized a national consultation on SDG 10, especially on SDG 10, relating to reducing inequalities at India Habitat Center, which was held in New Delhi on 28th August 2017. To generate common understanding on the associated SDG targets, problems, issues were involved, and explored the road ahead in the process of timely implementation of agendas which are to be completed in 2030. So what was the special focus was on what they covered were empowering and promoting the social, economic and political inclusion of all, equal opportunities and reducing the inequalities, including eliminating discriminatory laws, adopting policies, especially fiscal, wage and social protection related, and reducing the remittance cost to less than 3%. And Mr. Yuri Afanasyev, UN Resident Coordinator, gave the remarks bringing out the international perspective and importance of Goal 10, adding that UN believes that inequality is the strategic and existential challenge of the 21st century. He pointed out that India and some BRICS countries among major economies are categorized under top 10 unequal countries in the world. In the recent past, India stressed on the harmonious equal development at all levels, which reflects the political will. Further, he raised the following issues on the inequality debate. Debate was on poverty, which they said should not be muddled together with inequality. Each country should address right type of inequality, income, which includes income, wealth, or consumption based on their needs of their countries. And question of income of mobility needs were to be answered. And new legislation on people with disabilities is well accredited. So these all were the points, and some points were on the labor issues about the migrated persons, immigrants in Kerala. They addressed the challenges that Kerala was facing, specifically in unorganized sector. The person highlighted the challenges that are faced by migrants while working in the destination state, as most of the labor laws are state-centric, which needs to be amended so that migrants can also enjoy the benefit of working in given state. He cited two schemes of Kerala, namely Apna Ghar and Awas scheme on health, education, housing for migrants, and thereby recommended annual migrant status survey in all the states. The person suggested that some of the schemes like Apna Ghar and Awas schemes can be adopted by other states as a solution to the challenges faced by the migrants. And in end, I'll say that the SDGs are interlinked with each other. Goal 10 is closely connected with goal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. And strongly, everyone should recommend to tackle the core issue of inequality, social inequality, and lack of opportunity. And thank you. And Tiana, this is the nice platform which you have created. And I just want to have such a platform in future. You have created the platform for 17 days. I want all the 17 persons to be in one day only.
Wow, that's amazing.
Great
So I'll be
initiative.
inviting you all.
All the best. Looking forward to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You did a great job, and I hope that you join tomorrow, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have another international guest speaker, Ambassador Maya Japajvili Givinashvili. Welcome.
Tiana, we need to learn Georgian, you know.
Hello, everyone. I am Maya. I teach a tutor from Georgia. It's a great honor for me to be here again. Thank you for this. I was not going to be a speaker today, but at the time the conference changed, I am able to speak. Thank you for this. Now I will speak about Sustainable Development Goal 10. Sustainable Development Goal 10 focuses on reducing inequality within and among countries. The goal is to ensure that everyone, regardless of their income, gender, age, disability, or other characteristics, has equal access to basic services, resources, and opportunities. SDG 10 addresses various forms of inequality, including income inequality, social exclusion, and discrimination. Here are some key problems associated with SDG and potential solutions. Problem 1, income inequality. Income inequality refers to the unequal distribution of income among individuals and households within a society. It can lead to social unrest, limited access to education and healthcare, and hinder economic growth. Solutions can be implementing progressive tax policies that impose higher tax rates on high-income individuals and corporations can help redistribute wealth and reduce income inequality. Social safety nets, establishing robust social protection programs such as unemployment benefits, healthcare coverage, and cash transfer programs can provide a safety net for those who are most vulnerable and help reduce income disparities. Setting fair and livable minimum wage levels can ensure that workers earn a decent income and reduce income inequality in the labor market. Problem 2, social exclusion and discrimination. Social exclusion and discrimination prevents certain groups from fully participating in society, resulting unequal opportunities and limited access to resources, services, and decision-making process. Solution in this case can be equal opportunity policies. Implementing policies that promote equal opportunities in education, employment, and public services can help address social exclusion and discrimination based on gender, ethnicity, disability, or other characteristics. Promoting diversity and inclusion, encouraging diverse representation and inclusivity in all sectors of society, including government, businesses, and civil society, can help reduce social exclusion and discrimination. Education and awareness, promoting education and raising awareness about the harmful effects of discrimination and stereotypes can help foster a more inclusive and tolerant society. Problem 3, regional and global inequalities. Inequalities can exist not only within countries, but also between different regions and countries, leading to disparities in development of access to resources. Solution in this case may be international cooperation, enhancing international cooperation and partnership to promote equitable development and addresses regional disparities can help reduce inequalities between countries. Technology transfer and capacity building, facilitating the transfer of technology, knowledge, and expertise from developed to developing regions can help bridge to technological gap and promote sustainable development. Now I will speak about the problems connected to inequality in Georgia. Georgia has experienced economic growth over the years, but income inequality remains a challenge. Disparities between urban and rural areas, as well as among different regions, persist. Efforts have made to address this through social assistance programs and inclusive economical policies. Access to basic services such as healthcare and education has improved in Georgia, but disparities still exist here too, particularly in rural and remote areas. This government implemented initiatives to enhance access to equality services and infrastructure across the country. Georgia has made progress in expanding social protection programs, including pensions, social assistance, and healthcare coverage. However, the coverage of effectiveness of these programs vary, and there is a need for further improvement to ensure adequate support to vulnerable groups. Migration and internal displacement is a problem also in Georgia, as Georgia has faced challenges related to internal displacement and migration, particularly in regions affected by conflicts such as Abkhazia and South Ossetia. These situations contribute to inequalities and pose obstacles to sustainable development. These are just a few examples of these problems associated with SDG 10 and potential solutions. Achieving SDG 10 requires a comprehensive and multi-sectoral approach involving governments, civil society organizations, businesses, and individuals working together to address inequality in all its forms. Thank you for your attention to all the speakers and listeners. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
Wow, thank you. This has been an amazing week with you, and we can't wait to spend more time with you and learning more about your country, because it's important that we spread all the information from all countries, because all lives do exist and women's lives do exist for equality. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have now came to the end of our day summit, and it's amazing to see all the speakers talk about so much innovation in their countries. But the thing is, we have to show equality, because we all exist with God, we all exist with humanity, we all bleed the same, we all can have the same opportunities without judgment, we all can use a brain, we all are gifted, we all have things to share with each other. And I think the focus now is the awareness of what's going on in the world in each country. That's why I'm so glad we're here again today, because if you pay attention to each country, there's something similar going on with all countries. And that's the point, that some people have been suppressed and they haven't been able to get the opportunities that all people should get. And we want to give that opportunity here on this platform to give them a chance to speak for global peace, to spread and move the energy of peace, overcoming life circumstances, and even overcoming fear, which can hold you back and put you set into a mindset of someone that doesn't know their self-value or self-worth, or not knowing that there must be more to you than what you might know. But everyone has a purpose, and everyone has a country that has a solution. But it's up to the people, which is you all, the humanity, to give that solution and to give that power back to each other by educating each other with this data and with this research and analysis. I'm so excited because today there's been a flow of knowledge going through here. There's so many people with such great hearts and visions for the future that became a reality of their own purpose. They're walking in their path. And that's why we have to stick together and unite with all nations for peace. We have to be open-minded about learning other cultures and countries, basically issues, so that it can be evaluated and fixed, and at least a solution could be brought into surface from the people that are speaking about their countries. You guys are the leaders. You guys are the ones that are going to bring equality in your countries. We're aware of what's going on with, you know, things being not equal in different states of occupations, and also elements of fundamentals with even gender equality, because those are all the other SDGs. So everything is united and connected to each other. But I'm so grateful that you are all here explaining the details of what's going on in your country and how we can all come together and find a solution with this data. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. And stay tuned. We have another SDG tomorrow, SDG 11. Guys, be here, because this is going to be another amazing summit. Thank you guys so much, and have a blessed day. Take care for now.